Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight for our headline content, we're going to talk about something that's going on in Florida. Now, there are so many prerequisites to this, and there's a lot of things going on, so make sure you check the videos that I'm going to reference in here because it paints a really complete picture of how gun rights are moving in the positive direction for you and I. Now, before we do that, I want to say the North Carolina video that we did, the bullet points episode on today, really ties in nicely to this. In North Carolina, a new bill has been sent to the governor's desk. There's lots of conjecture about whether he's going to veto it or sign it into law. But it's hitting on something that's a deeper-seated rights issue for all Americans. Check that out. I put it in the card above. It's either on this side or on this side, or it's in the description box below. But it's something you guys need to see, and let me know what you think, because it ties in nicely to this. Now, if you guys recall, there's also something that occurred recently. We did a video on it about how the Fourth Circuit Court came out and said 18 to 20-year-olds in that entire district of the United States can now buy handguns because it's a disparity of rights for an 18-year-old to a 20-year-old not to be able to buy a handgun, but you can if you're 21. It doesn't make sense, and it was overruled at a federal appellate level. And it's going to keep going up the chain, but the point is it's already been ruled, which is why you're starting to see the NRA activate. This is important, guys. For anybody who knows what's going on out there, we are moving rights forward in an incredibly hostile environment because it's written in the Constitution. This is our guaranteed right. And that's what the left always runs up against. It's not about the rights themselves, what we can and can't have, because that's ironclad. It's about the emotional aspect. It's about the periphery around those rights. It's never about the kernel of the right itself. That's why they attack at the edges. They never go straight for it. But the big thing that I want to say to you on this is this fight for our rights is never ending. It's up to us to guard it. It's our vigil right now. It is our opportunity to really pass this on to the next generation. And as long as there is a fight inside this American and the American on the other side of this camera, it's not over. Ever. They can take the House, they can take the Senate, they can take the White House, they can take all three. But look what's happening in the roadblocks that they're running into when they have. It's because the fire is on our bellies, and we will preserve these rights, and we will pass it on. Give me an amen in the comments field below if you agree. And now, let's dive into this. As always, it's in the description box below if you want to see the article. So, NRA targets ban on Florida gun sales to people under 21. Okay, sounds promising. Gun rights are moving forward. Okay, that's a good thing. Tallahassee. Pointing to what it describes as the irrationality of the ban, the National Rifle Association has urged a federal appeals court to reject a 2018 Florida law that prevents people under age 21 from buying guns. I cannot wait to hear what David Hogg has to say about this one. The brief came after Chief U.S. District Judge Mark Walker in June upheld the law. So this law has already been upheld because it was already a suit, but now it's going to the next level, the appellate court. NRA attorneys wrote that the ban infringes all young adults' right to purchase any firearm, even for self-defense in the home, and contrasted it with other laws related to people under 21. Now, it goes into different areas of what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do once you get to the age of 18, and it's actually really powerful. So check that article out. Like I said, it's in the description. But this is what the actual law is being challenged says. The law prevents the sale of rifles, shotguns, and other long guns to people ages 18 to 20. Federal law already barred sales of handguns to people under 21. Now, that's what's been challenged, and that I believe it was the 4th District. You guys can correct me if it wasn't the 4th District. But basically, 18 to 20-year-olds, we did a video on it, they can now buy handguns because it was a discriminatory practice not to allow them to do so because they were constitutionally adults. It's important. So it's really good on the prerequisites here. Attorneys for the state have not filed arguments for the Atlanta-based appeals court, and this is where it falls apart for the left, the gun controllers. But in a document filed in district court, they wrote that people ages 18 to 20 are a particularly high-risk group and pointed to scientific evidence about impulsive and risky behavior. Interesting. I don't remember reading in the Second Amendment, it says these rights are for everyone who's not impulsive and risky. Interesting how that is not something that's really, really crucially considered when the left is going after these rights. They don't go after rights from a standpoint of the right itself because, like I said, it's ironclad. What they do is they attack at the periphery and they nibble on the edges because they've got to get the emotion in the periphery around the actual right because they can't get the right itself. It's so well written and solid in our Constitution. And that is the power, and that's why we are moving forward even in the harshest of environments like we are now. Empirical evidence bears out that because 18 to 20-year-olds are uniquely likely to engage in impulsive, emotional, and risky behaviors that offer immediate or short-term rewards, drawing the line for legal purchase of firearms at 21 is a reasonable method of addressing the legislature's public safety concerns, the document said. It doesn't matter about the legislators' public safety concerns. You cannot discriminate an entire group of people on the best way I'd say that, on a subjective nature of maturity and impulsiveness that is not assigned to every single individual 18 to 20. Some absolutely not. So you're going to bar from everybody. See how this strikes right at the core of the leftist ideal? Well, there could be some problems with 1% of the population, so no one can have them. Except the things that they care about. Just saying. And this is where it's going to fall apart, and this is why it's going to keep going. If it gets declined here, it's going to keep going up the chain, and then the SCOTUS gets involved. While the law prevents people ages 18 to 20 from buying guns, it allows them to receive firearms, for example, as gift from relatives. NRA attorneys argued in the brief that the law violates constitutional equal protection rights. 100% does. So the law actually states that if you're 18 to 20, you can't go in and go through a background check and buy the gun. However, you can have a gun gifted from a family member or someone that you know and not have a background check. Do you see how this whole thing falls apart? Their entire wall of gun control and common sense gun legislation falls apart when it's written like this. They have no chance to uphold this because you're saying that certain 18 to 20-year-olds can do this if it's given to them, and then other 18 to 20-year-olds who do not have the opportunity for a gift don't have the right to purchase it. Blatantly unconstitutional on its face, and that is where Florida is going to quickly join this exact same rank. Like I said, I believe it's the 4th District Court, and this is going to become a SCOTUS issue. It might be that in the next 4 years, you're going to see Americans 18 to 20 being able to buy not only rifles and shotguns, but also handguns to support their Second Amendment rights. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below. And until tomorrow, I'm Braden. See you later.